Oh, we're not gonna say anything threaten me this time, funny man.
君は確かに当たりと、溶かしのそばにいて、いつれて、いつれて、いつれて、杉を国、杉を国で、what the hell is it?
What? See you. What?
Warate,
Kimi,
ite,
oh, I will never
leave.
leave you. Welcome back, y'all.
Yeah.
My name is AJ, and I'm here to yap about Higurashi When They Cry Kai, Chapter 6, TSUMIHOROBOSHI. I am once again joined by my co-star singer, Griffin. Say hello, Griffin.
I need to play Reload at some point.
I like it. Did you hear that there's a chance the Persona 4 remake is actually real?
I wouldn't doubt it.
I wouldn't
honestly.
doubt it. No.
They already did.
Hey, that Raito remake master looks pretty good. I've always wanted to
doing a Raito one.
Yeah, it was at not the Switch 2 Direct. It was the Nintendo Direct a week before that was more focused on third parties. Yeah, they're remastering the first Raito game, but it's like this weird balance between like a remake, because like it's like a lot of overhauled systems, entirely overhauled graphics and all that, but you can still like see the shell of like the bones of the old game still in there. If that makes any sense. It's like I'm not sure if you've ever seen like comparisons between Crisis Core PSP and Crisis Core Reunion, but that's like the fine line of like remake and remaster, because like that's a lot of overhauling they did, so you can't just call it a simple remaster, but like you can still see the original skeleton of that PSP video game is still there.
Yeah, I wonder if it would have been nice if we get Digital Devil Saga.
Apparently Raito's more popular than DDS over in Japan.
Ow! Okay, well, yeah, in Japan, yeah, that makes sense.
I mean, he does got the drip on. Shame about the cultural
like,
implications of said drip, but you know.
no, like, hate against Devil Summoner Raito. I'm sure he's a cool dude, but I would like to play Digital Devil Saga on modern hardware.
I would like to. I plan to cover SMT. I actually was going to go to SMT games next, but I got the Zelda bug. But Raito and DDS and all that, that's all part of my list. And you know what? The Raito remaster, it's only the first game so far, but it's if you look it up, it's like pretty extensive remaster.
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now.
Yeah.
It looks nice.
And I'm sure too. And I think even he said like the director said he has interest in making a third one.
A third one? Oh, neat.
Yeah. Raito Kuzunichi.
You should whenever you do go into SD, you should start with Strange Journey.
I was actually thinking about covering the like at least the first. I'm not sure how I'm gonna tackle it, but I wanted to do something with the original Megami Tensei novels. There's the OVA, but here the OVA, you need a little context from the books. I don't know. I'll work out those details, because my plan is to explore the roots of the series and then to go play Shin Megami Tensei 1, SMT2, SMTF.
Here, play, whenever you do it, just play Hyaku Megami Tensei.
What's that?
It is the SNES remake of Megami Tensei 1 and 2, like together in one game.
Like and Mario All-Stars.
Yeah, his name's patched for it.
I will, duly noted. I will keep that on the route. Higurashi When They Cry. Am I right? Last time, Tomitaka and Takano died again, and we also learned of Rena's past, how she saw maggots in her blood, which that's the description still makes me feel woozy. Enough about those demons. Let's go back to these demons.
Yeah. About
homing ability and about the homing attack from Sonic the Hedgehog. If you interpret homing ability in a broad sense, you can say that most animals have a homing ability. What the fuck does that mean? Same with humans. We like to sleep, freeze, and as a place where it feels comfortable, namely our homes. Home is to you where nests are to animals. Therefore, we can say that humans have a homing ability as well. First of all, why do the animals need nests? Are they stupid? The answer is the same for humans. At the same time, those actions leave one defenseless as well. That's why you need a safe area where you can be defenseless. Everyone knows that having this safe area results in high level of stress. Yeah, I feel that. Move an animal to the environment, it actually becomes stress. When you force a person to live in foreign land when they're comfortable, they greatly become stress as well. Everyone also knows that stress is called homesickness. The Japanese don't know much about homesickness. We define it as a mental weakness, neglected to treat it for a long period of time. I did not know this. However, homesickness has a very long history in Europe, the Middle Ages. People believe it's a mental but rather a physical disease. People also believe that out of everyone, the Swiss got the disease the most. The Swiss, you see, were known to be an ethnic group that worked away from home that era. They lived far away in their homes, there were no telephones at the time, so they could hear their family's voices for ages. It's easy to imagine young Swiss workers who got homesick while working in a strange land. The Swiss who got homesick wanted to go home. Excuse me, I have to mute the mic there for a second. I wanna go home. I wanna go home. So going without only treatment, they must have called it a fatal disease. But it isn't a real one, of course. Specifically, homesickness is a sign of human homing instinct. Your brain desires to go back to your safe area, namely your home. First, your brain makes you remember the happy memories of your home, and you just use to go home in a natural way. But when reason stops you from achieving your desire, your brain starts sending unnatural signals to your body. As a result, your body gets weak, and that makes it more difficult for you to live in a strange land. The end of reason in order to achieve your desire to go home. So homesickness is born from our homing instincts. And one strong homing instinct is stronger than homesickness. The strength of that home... I have said homes a lot in the past 2 minutes, holy shit. When your home is safe and the environment you live in is dangerous, your homing instinct grows stronger. On the other hand, when the environment you live is safer than your home, your homing instinct becomes weaker. Safety isn't the only element that affects its strength. Cultural aspects affect it too. The many customs demanding families to return home for major events varies with each region, so your birthplace culture also strongly affects your homing instinct. Amongst those regions, the Transcendents of the Onigafuchi village were believed to have excessively strong homing instincts. The people of Onigafuchi forbade their fellows from ever leaving. Many believe it was effective elitism, a sense of purity I already mentioned before. People today still believe that Oshio-sama put his curse on you if you broke his rule and abandoned the village. The superstition can be interpreted as homesickness. If homesickness is directly proportional to one's homing instinct, the exaggerated expression of curse would signify the strength of that homesickness, and also their homing instinct. Home, 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 home. If you assume that they hated the outside world and created a singular society that had homing ability, unfortunately there's no way to measure the strength of the homing ability that the primitive people of the Onigafuchi had. It was so strongly forbidden to leave the village that nobody left long enough to get homesick. After all, the Meiji era, things changed. The sacredness of Onigafuchi dwindled with the efforts of modernization. Many young people started longing for a city life, and some people were forced to leave the village to get a job. As a result, villagers started venturing out the village borders. That's when the Transcendents of Onigafuchi realized how strong their homing ability was for the first time. The resident Himezawa got extremely homesick. After a while, people started to call this homesickness the curse of Orishiro-sama. It became rumored that the person who left the village to get a job in a strange land was cursed, that he went crazy and died, and people who left the village started coming back to either a nearby town. The homesickness and their homing ability was very strong because of their culture. It's reasonable to think that these cultivated by a unique religion in Himezawa, namely the cult of Orishiro-sama. From the moment they were born, they're taught the rules of Orishiro-sama. They must feel guilty about leaving the village unconsciously. So as a result, they consider the homesickness to be the curse of Orishiro-sama. Not sure their homesickness got stronger because of the rules of Orishiro-sama, or they made the rules of Orishiro-sama because their homesickness got stronger. I don't know which came first. I got tired of reading such a small print and laid down on the floor on my back. Do you really think the curse of Orishiro-sama is homesickness? I mean, Mio-san believed my story and she let me read the scrapbooks, so I expect to find something interesting. But what is saying the answer to all this homesickness, which the doctor so many times in counseling? I'm a little upset. The word homesickness can't explain the extraordinary experience I had. I mean, you were under a lot of drugs and psychic delusions. I saw Orishiro-sama come to me bright light in the bathroom. I saw dusky red nasties come out of my blood vessels. The scrapbook doesn't explain any of it. I don't understand how Mio-san was going to explain the cloud of maggots. Maybe she didn't have the explanation to begin with. Was it just delusion? I flipped through one of the scrapbooks Mio-san let me borrow, looking for explanation to maggots I saw. Then I found it. The exact title I was looking for. About maggots in the curse of Orishiro-sama. Meiji era, a group of villagers went raided back to Himizawa and they started discussing a rumor about a weird disease. They said the maggots started crawling out the wounds of a person left in Himizawa, that the maggots ate the person's body from the inside. The Shinto priest had further sign and explained the weird disease was a sign of the curse of Orishiro-sama. According to the tradition, the Shinto priest showed the villagers an ancient scroll and told them the story of maggots had been passed down through the ages. So the scroll said, the world where the demons came from must be interpreted as the land of death. The demons in that land of death had to live their lives while being eaten by maggots. The villagers who are of demon's blood had nothing to worry about as long as they lived in Himizawa in protection of Orishiro-sama. But once they left Himizawa, abandoning their protection, the maggots that had been sleeping in the body of the demons would start to awaken and eat the bodies from the inside out. This maggot disease scared the villagers for a while, and they asked the shrine to provide them with protective talismans when they had to leave the village on business. This is interesting and similar to the way homesickness was dealt with the Swiss in the Middle Ages. After the war started, the illusion of maggots disease faded away, but they remained accustomed to send talismans to families that lived away from Himizawa. The talismans had the word maggot on them, but most interesting part of all this, the resident Himizawa didn't know about the maggot disease until the rumors began. I thought their unconscious worship made those people think of homesickness as a curse. So this case of previously unknown maggot disease directly contradicted the research I had done so far. It's natural to think the group of people who were on their way back to the village were lost in a mass illusion because they strongly believed in the curse, and that the Shinto priests took advantage of their state of panic to install deeper faith in them.
I don't like the way she said maggot.
I've been trying so hard to stress the I'll send maggots in the wound or have a prerequisite without person cured by Orishiro-sama. Wish Orishiro-sama would put his curse on somebody I could study. I'd love to see those maggots coming out of someone. I felt as Mio-san was here making that request of me.
The maggot disease.
I remember. Yeah, I gave the scrapbook. She might do all one could understand them. It was good for just a moment, because I found out the maggots weren't a delusion. But at the same time, it stored my excuse that it was a delusion. Fuck! Maggots weren't a delusion. They were there. All of a sudden, my wrists, elbows, and sides and neck started itching.
Oh no.
But the Uchiko's blood vessel quietly held it down. Remember that Mio-sans looked very serious when I talked about the maggots. I must have thought it was creepy. But so did I. Well, I was crying because nobody believed me. A part of me didn't want to believe my body was filled with those creepy crawlies. I think part of me wanted to believe that it was a delusion. But now I know it wasn't. You already said that. It wasn't a delusion. That some people had the same experience. Maggots in the demon's blood will awaken once you lose protection of Orishiro-sama. In other words, they might awaken on the protection of Orishiro-sama. But as the villagers saw maggots in them without knowing it, people with the demon's blood are people who have creepy maggots in their bodies. I feel like you just said the same sentence like 3 times in a row, and I'm conscious look for something related to maggots. About parasites and the control of the host. Maggot disease made me think something. Is it possible to explain these homesickness with infectious disease caused by some kind of parasite? I'm not trying to connect the maggots they saw with parasites. I'm trying to think about the possibility their culture, their religion, might be associated with an infectious disease. Something could come from the swamp. Many infectious diseases are caused unintentionally by parasites. Parasite's host is literally its home. It wants to live in the host body for as long as it can. The best way is to coexist with the host without the host knowing it. But some parasites try to control their hosts and use them for prosperity. For example, some parasites have the ability to control their hosts in order to force them to be eaten by their superior hosts. Typical example is I'm not reading that. It uses snails or ants as immediate hosts and forcing them to move to the upper side of vegetation, so it's easier for the superior host to consume it. One parasite controls some more complicated animals. It's called Toxoplasma gondii. Mice and immediate hosts was actually I want to read that. So the its chance of getting one parasite that controls more complicated animals is called Toxoplasma gondii. It uses mice as an intermediate host, with the superior host being cats. This parasite makes a mouse lose its fear of cats in order to increase its chance of getting eaten, so that the parasite can live within a cat. Is this real?
Yep, it's real.
Oh. Yeah, I should control. This is actually important information. I should control the pace. There are parasites that choose hosts at random. The rabies virus is commonly known for that. I guess. Oh yeah, that is parasites. It lives and breathes in the brain of the host and moves into the host's saliva through their salivary glands. Makes the host extremely aggressive in order to make it bite things randomly, so it can so that it in turn can move to other hosts through the saliva. That's what rabies does. Zombies probably where the inspiration for zombies all came from. Many parasites have similar ability to control hosts to their benefit. Examples I use above are about parasites that move in order to host proper. Oops. But I think there must be some kind of parasite controls this host in order to have a comfortable environment in which to live. I want to try to connect this theory with the abnormal homing ability and the homesickness of the Onagafushi residents. Let's say there's some kind of parasite that exists in Himizawa and lives within all the villagers' bodies. For the parasite, Himizawa is the most comfortable environment to live in. So if it gives the host a strong homing ability in order to make them stay in Himizawa. Furthermore, it causes the host to get homesick whenever they ignore this homing ability and try to leave. Parasites need hosts in which to live. It's convenient for them if the hosts build a community environment where it feels comfortable. This theory makes it easier for me to explain the mysteries I described earlier. The Transcendents of Onagafuchi knew about the existence of these parasites. They knew, as the hosts to the parasites, they couldn't live outside the village. That's why they created a culture and rules that prohibited contact with the outside world. So explains why this is a very, like, if you're right talking about this, you really, what about parasites? Writes an elaborate thesis about this.
AJ, remember how I was saying that the advanced scenarios are about Hinamizawa residents who lived outside of Hinamizawa?
The mass hysteria could be caused by these parasites. Because they had no home to return to. They physically couldn't go back to Himizawa. It was cordoned off.
Well, safe to say that there's something that happens in the advanced scenarios.
Well, I don't need to think about those right now. I'm trying. Because there was that unexplained mass hysteria that happened with all the survivors. Yes. So if there is an infectious disease that compels them to be in Himizawa, if you can't go back, like physically, like, no, it's quarantined, you will die, then I guess you just go fucking bananas.
So it doesn't explain the events of Watanabe Kanashi. They're in Hinamizawa.
Yeah, they're in Himizawa. That could still, I mean, that could still honestly just be a series of coinkydinks.
Think so?
I don't know. I'm focusing on this first. Because if these parasites do exist, which I don't think the game would suddenly, in Chapter 6, go very in-depth about this science aspect that could possibly explain a lot of things happening with Venena and the village, and just say, none of this is even close to being correct. Like, I think we're a little bit too far in the game for that. you know? But it could be tied to the swamp. Because it could be some parasitic life form that originates from that fucking strange-ass swamp. And
like, not to like, you know, like, spoil anything. I'm just saying, like, from my experience, my first theory about, like, what's going on was the swamp, because it could be in their drinking water.
It could be in drinking water. It could be, yeah. It's
because if it is in their drinking water, in their groundwater, then they wouldn't have access to it outside of Hinamizawa.
Oh, that's the. Yeah. It's got to be the swamp. Like, that's causing something to biologically happen in this town. Because not only is that the source of all the legends, you know, connected to hell, that fucking literally opened up toxic gases that killed an entire town overnight. Like, whatever in there must not be healthy for human beings.
It's where the legends came from.
It's gotta be. If science is connected to this, which I'm sure it is. Magic is still real, by the way. The source of all the biological anomalies must be that swamp. Oh my god, I feel like I'm making progress! Yeah! Like, people acted so abnormal during the damn conflict. Oh, right, because if they had those parasites, and, like, they would tell, hey, get the fuck out, they'd be like, no. I'm sure, like, it's also, you know, it's a mix of biological and cultural things that are just
boiling over. It's more like, you know, they were told to leave their home by the government. That's also, you know, probably a big part of it.
Yeah, that is a big part of it, but it was an extreme thing. Like, abnormally extreme. So that's like,
Right.
if their bodies are possessed. I guess Okonomiya just also counts, like, it's still, like, if we're still going to science, it's just, like, still so close to Hinamizawa that whatever connected to, like, the swamp can still be, like, connected to there.
Let me see. I need to look and find something. If there's a there's if yeah, I wonder if it's this.
The syringes could make
Right.
whatever this... It could cause a
Sorry.
biological reaction to whatever
One
is...
second.
No, sorry.
Post. You know what? I'm gonna go look up something real quick.
Okay, I'm gonna keep on reading then. During the dam conflict, so the demons that came out of the swamp in the legend of Orishiro-sama can be interpreted as the mass spread of the parasite. The story about the demons attacking the villagers must be a metaphor for the behavior of the infected villagers who were controlled by the parasite. This theory's too crazy. I should've just laughed about it, but I feel bad for Miyo-san, so I decided not to. Miyazawa controlled by a parasite? Use that theory to explain how the maggots came out of me. I feel a little dizzy. I was confused, and a part of me thought it was ridiculous. Another part of me thought it was more convincing than any curse. But Miyo-san probably erased because she wrote these scrapbooks. So, the context of scrapbooks might have something they can't ignore. They try to get all of her scrapbooks and consign them to oblivion. What do they know some of her scrapbooks are missing? I felt chill running through my spine. We keep a secret that I have these scrapbooks. I feel like it is more imperative that you keep these scrapbook secrets than the fact that you killed 2 people. than I actually think this takes priority. And I'll have to try to understand more about their contents. I remember that Miyo-san told me that there's 3 families behind the serious mysterious deaths, and that they're trying to resurrect the cult of Orishiro-sama. Oyashiro. According to the theory I just read, the parasite must be trying to maintain the current environment in Hinamizawa. The healthiest environment for it is a completely closed-off village, just like the primitive Onigafuchi. It's be very comfortable with the parasite if no hosts go outside the village. They don't even know that the villagers often leave the village to go shopping. That means the parasite would try to goad the horse into resurrecting the cult of Orishiro-sama. Oh, sorry, I have to mute there. I remember there was an article in the scrapbook saying the demon's blood runs thickest in the 3 families. That would mean they have the largest amount of parasites in them than the other villagers, and that they're under its control. The 3 families seem to be planning to bring the village back to the Onigafuchi era. Reviving the Wadagashi festival after the dam conflict can be interpreted as their desire to revive the faith that started to fade away in the Meiji era. 3 families, especially the Sonozakis, have great influence over the region and public organizations. What's going on here? I thought this would be a poorly written series, but the pieces fit together, one after another. I've never played a jigsaw puzzle as crazy as this. My brain's swirling due to the absurd series. Part of me thought this was ridiculous, and another part of me thought I might be able to expose an unbelievable truth. When I tried to look in the center of it, I felt like I was going to fall into a whirlpool and drown. I had to devote myself to reading more seriously. There must be some truth to this. Caused misfortune and made my life miserable after I moved to Ibaraki. I'll be able to find the truth.
Okay, I looked up, yeah.
What were you looking up?
Just there is a post-chapter scene that I was hoping of. I didn't know where it was, or if it was one of the side chapters where it happened. But no, it's one of the main chapters.
Oh,
So
it's one of the notes.
Yeah.
Okay. If this parasite theory is correct, which again I'm leaning to believe that there's a good amount of truth in it, that just makes the clinic even more suspicious. Cause like I feel like they would notice something irregular in all the bodies of people who live in Hinamizawa. Like, I don't think that's something you can just ignore. Like if there is like, then again, like she was more as a mental hospital, not really like a physical hospital. So maybe they didn't really like dive deep into like to see what's wrong with her. They just pumped her full of drugs.
Yeah. Like it's a clinic. Like it's a town clinic though.
Yeah.
It's not like doing surgeries there.
Yeah, I guess.
You know.
I don't know. That clinic, you know what? I don't trust them. She was claiming to cause my parents' divorce and my disturbed behavior. Rena once again proving. Well, I guess this is Takano, but without. If Takano never talked to Rena, then they even if anyone just read this, they would think it's bullshit. But because these two people were mad. They're actually making more progress on this case than any other person in the history of Inamazawa. Once again, Rena is proving she is the smartest person here.
So true.
Right then heard a knock on the door all of a sudden, scaring me. There's scrapbooks under a cushion. I'm not sure if you heard I say this, but I think it is more important for Rena to hide these scrapbooks than to hide the fact that she murdered people.
Probably. I don't know. I mean, murder is still bad.
Murder is still bad, but like that feels like it's just, you know, its own separate circumstances. This is connected to also the bookstore excuse again. This is all connected to something much greater than just one Badger game. You know?
Just one what?
Badger game.
Badger game?
Yeah, that's the term they use how he was scamming, how Tepe and Rina was scamming.
Oh, really? Huh.
Yeah. I even named the episode after it. Badger game.
Neat.
Go check it out on my youtube.com right now.
No.
Ajina. Ajine.
Break time between classes, but I couldn't really get any rest. I'm noticing that Rena is feeling all the Oishi conversations Keiichi had in chapter 1. I'm not really seeing the depth of it, but he's only ever used the bookstore excuse with chapter 1 Keiichi.
やっぱりさ、都会の学校だと教室にも
Do
ク
we
ーラ
have
ーと
like
か
a
入ってる
fan
わ
or
け
anything? Like a
そん
ceiling
なことねえ
fan?
ぞ。
A wall fan?
ある
Like
の
a fan?
はせいぜい職員室ぐらいだな。
What happened to that
それは羨ましい
forest
ね。
survey
生徒みんなで職員室を襲って占拠とかしないの？
thing?
その辺の発想が。
Oh yeah, how they're gonna be digging up those bodies soon. That is the least of my worries right now, Griffin. I didn't have the energy to laugh. I did. Me and Nice stopped talking and used our notebooks to fan ourselves. I looked at the empty seat nearby. It was Rena's. Rena didn't come to school today. He called and told TA-san she couldn't come because she's sick.
レナのやつ、最近元気ないよな。だね。暑さにやられたのかもね。なあ、本気で暑さでやられたと思ってるのか？そう思ってるけど。例の一件がさ、やっぱりじわじわと来てるんじゃないのか？かもね。それに暑さも加わって、夏バテでも起こしたんじゃないかな。
Can you imagine how distressing it was for her to commit a murder, dismember the bodies, and get caught by her friends? We took each other's hand in place, and we were united. I always believed that we had closed the case there and had regained our peace. But that was easy as it was for us. She must have not quite recovered yet. Also, she has a lot of shit going on right now.
おじさんはみんなで楽しく遊んでれば、そのうち元気になると思
I
ってたん
thought
だ
if
け
she
ど
played
ね。
board games with her friends, she
そ
would
こ
get
ま
with the
で
fact that
心
she
の傷が
murdered two
浅くなかっ
people.
たってことかな。
こういう時さ、
I can't believe that didn't work.
どうしたらレナを元気づ
Playing
けられる
Uno
か
did
な。
not get her over the fact of hiding dead
ほっ
bodies.
とくのが一番じゃないかな。
おいおい、そんなのでいいのかよ。俺たち仲間だろ。
Germa has breached containment.
ほら、
Oh,
ホー
I
ム
meant
シッ
to
クって
send
あ
that
るじゃ
to
ない？あれもね、
Thursday
ちょっ
night
と
you.
寂しいからって言って、実家に
I was
電話なん
like,
か
what
か
does
けちゃ
that
っ
have
て
to do with
一気に発症しちゃうらしいよ。
Inamazawa?
寂しい時はぐっと耐えて、例えばスポーツにでも打ち込んで気分転換を図るのが一番なんだってさ。
気
That
分
had
転換さ
everything
せ
to
て
do
や
with
りたくても、
Kamizawa.
あいつ最近部活に加わらないし。
レナはどうか知らないけどさ、人には甘えたい欲ってのがあるんだよ。そばに支えてくれる人や
Let's see,
同情してくれる人がいると
Higurashi, where
甘え
Germa
たくなる
supposed to
欲、
be talking.
慰めてくれる人が現れるとさ、際限なく甘えちゃうことってない？
どうだろうな。
際限なく甘えるってことは、相手の同情をより深く得ようとするってこと。そうすると、ケイちゃんは慰めてるつもりなのに、相手はどんどん落ち込んでいっちゃうことがあるんだよね。慰められて甘えられる。これに味を占めると、不幸に酔うのが癖になる。レナもその辺分かってるから、わざと一人になろうとしてるんじゃない？慰めや甘えが目的だったら、私たちのそばにいて涙を流せば済むわけだし。
じゃあ落ち込んでるレナをどう励ませばいいんだよ。
女の心情としては、辛さを励ましてくれるより、忘れさせてくれる方が嬉しいね。
慰めるな、励ますな。 なんだよ、お手上げじゃないかよ。
慰めるな励ますなは心理カウンセラーの鉄則だって知ってる？結局心の傷ってのは自分で治すようにできてる。周りの人が治したとしてもそれは本当の完治じゃない。だからレナが自分で元気にな
You
るの
learn
を
about
私た
therapy.
ちは見守るしかないんだよ、きっと。
理屈じゃ理解できるが、なんだか薄情な気がして好きになれねえな。
Cast my hands behind my back of my head, looking at the ceiling. Mion laughed.
それだけレナのことを心配してくれるケイちゃんが身近にいるならレナは大丈夫だよ。立ち直れるよ。
近くにいるだけでか？うさんくさいな。
圭一にだってできることがありますですよ。
Pikachu spoke up. Wonder how long she'd been listening to our conversation.
俺にもできることがあるのか？
レナが話したいと思った時や打ち明けたいと思った時に
It's very wise
静
words,
かに聞
Pika.
いてあげることなのです。
聞くだけでいいのか？
That goes a
励まさなくていいの
long,
かよ。
goes a long way,
ケイ
Keiichi.
ちゃん、打ち明けるだけで心が軽くなるもんだよ。静かに耳を傾けるのが何よりも嬉しい時ってある。
ミーの言う通りなのですよ。レナが話したいと思った時いつでも話しかけられる場所にいてあげるのが
H,
き
you
っと
literally
仲間として大切なことなのだと
did you
思い
not
ますで
take
す。
your own advice from the fucking junkyard?
No.
Like what? What do you mean friends should just talk to each other? What the? Oh, I didn't know.
Oh, to be fair, what he's saying, like, you don't have to... You can just listen. Like, you don't
Yeah.
have to, like, be problem-solving, I think is
Yeah,
the point
yeah,
he's, like, they're trying to clear up. But also, he is stupid, so let's make fun of Keiichi more.
そうだな。俺ちょっと人の心ってやつを理解しようとしてなかったな。レナを励ましたいのは俺の欲求であってレナの求めることじゃない。ありがとな二人とも。俺ひょっとすると今日まで何か勘違いをしてたかもしれないぜ。
That day, I thought I cheered her up. Decided down if I reached her heart. Might have just dragged her someplace where I wanted her to go. Wasn't on her side in real sense of the term. Suddenly, Pika-chan patted my head.
圭一は一番のレナの味方ですよ。それは疑わなくて大丈夫なのです。
俺また考え事を口に出しちまってたのか？
Easily readable
レ
face.
ナの心には届いてるよ。ケイちゃんはあの日とても強い力をレナに与えたんだからさ。いやーでもさ、よくよく思い出すとすっごい恥ずかしいこと言ってたよね。
Chris flipped up in the hallway and everyone started to head back to their desks.
お待たせしました。それでは委員長、号令起立。
Didn't have a club meeting that day because Elena wasn't around. That worked out for me. Because I had an errand to run. That wasn't a big errand. Mom wanted me to use her point card to get some detergent. See the point of going all the way to the store just to get detergent, but my mom told me because she's busy helping my dad with his work. What does that entail? In behind this... No, I'll get that image out of my mind. Why do we do such a mysterious thing? I stared at them to find out who it was, at which point they emerged.
お？レナじゃねえか。
Are you feeling better now? I was about to say that, but I swallowed the words. Somehow Renan looked very serious.
どうしたんだ？
Renan put her index finger legs and told me to quiet. Looked around carefully and begged me to come to Shut the fuck up! Get over here! I knew what's going on, but I followed her instructions, shut my mouth, and ran to her. Parasites. Are you gonna elaborate? No. I didn't know why I had to do that, but I asked her a question. I could ask her the question later. Just follow her orders for now. It looked like she was making sure no one was following her. It was Mion, she'd do something like that to fool me as a joke, but I know Verena doesn't do anything like things like this for fun. No idea what the situation got myself into, but I could feel how tense it was, and made myself as small as I could.
もういいよ。ごめんね。
Tone of voice made me relax a little.
どうしたってんだよ一体。
多分私誰かに最近後をつけられているの。
なんだって。
I would follow her. When I thought about it, I realized how stupid the question was. You're stupid, Keiichi.
警察かよ。
Right in those guys. Even though they're awful human beings, the police had to investigate since they found out they had gone missing. Probably wouldn't be difficult to find out Rena has been to Rena's house. But it should be okay. As long as they don't find those bags, it should be okay.
警察なのか警察じゃないのかわからないけれど、綿流しの夜以降誰かにずっと見られている気がするの。
どういうことだよ。
Since that question, Rena stared at me directly with a blank expression. Her eyes looked as though they were evaluating me. She stared at me as assessing whether I was worth talking to about something very important. Rena squeezed her own wrist tightly and then started talking in a whisper.
話してもいいけど誰にも内緒にできる。
ああ、
I'm terrible at keeping secrets, but yes.
レナがそうしろってんなら誰にも喋らない。
圭一君なら信用できるよ。
She smiled and looked around one more time.
連中はひょっとするとミオさんのスクラップ帳を探しているのかもしれないの。
ミオさんで、ああ、看護師の高野さんのことか。あとスクラップ帳って何のことだ。
秘密の捜査になっているって言ってたから、多分圭一君は知らないよね。高野美代さん殺されたんだって。
いつ？
Don't be quiet again. Shut the fuck up! My voice and let her continue.
綿流しの夜、私たちは美代さんとあと富武さんに会ったよね。あの直後に2人が襲われたんだって。富武さんはお社様のたたりにあって喉をかきむしって死んだ。美代さんは岐阜の山中で焼き殺されていたと言ってたの。
それ本当かよ。そんなの誰も知らないぞ。
うん、それは警察が伏せて捜査をしてるからなの。ひなみ沢村連続開始事件は今年で5年目になっちゃうでしょ。だから変に騒がれたくないんで事件を公にしていないんだって。
なるほど。秘密捜査なのは分かったが、レナはそんな話どこで聞いたんだよ。
内緒だよ。私実は大石っていう沖宮署の刑事さんと連絡を取り合っているの。その人に教えてもらった。
どうして大石って人がレナに？
さあ、ちょっとそこはわからない。彼が言うには私なら信用できそうだからって言うんだけどね。
Dumbfounded to hear all this. But I knew she wasn't lying. To be honest, she'd be sticking her tongue out by now, but I don't know how to make a joke out of something like this.
ミオさんが殺された理由は多分彼女の研究のせいだと思うの。ミオさんがこの村の歴史とか民族学とかそういうのを熱心に調べてたってのは知っている？
なんとなくは聞いたことある。
Takano-san was interested in occult and mysterious things. I remember Mion once told me that she was studying the village of a legend man-eating demons out of curiosity. For
彼
the
女は
shits
多
and the
分
giggles.
その研究の中でこの村に関するある重要な秘密を知ってしまったの。あるいは彼女はそんなにも確信には踏み入ってなかったのかもしれないけど、そうは思われなかったんだろう
Doing
ね。
it for the
ちょっと待て。
shits. The fuck?
この村の秘密ってなんだよ。
私はミオさんのスクラップ帳をほんの数冊借りて読んだだけ。でも彼女が特に大事にしていた秘蔵の数冊だからかなり重要なことが記してあったと思う。だから多分ミオさんが至ろうとしていたことに8割方ぐらいは近づいていると思うの。でもあまりに突拍子もなくて私にはまだ信じられない。ミオさんの想像が正しいかどうか検証してる段階なの。
で、何なんだ一体。秘密を知ると殺されるっていうこの村の秘密ってのは。
Guess the moment those words left my mouth. Rena told me I might get killed too.
圭一君には まだ全部話したくない。確証が持てたら話すね。だってそれくらいに途方もないとんでもない話だから。
確証ってなんだよ。
例えば予備知識のない内訳については私自らはその存在を検証できているけど、他にもたくさん未検証のことがあるの。それらを埋めていかないと私ですらにわかには信じられない。
Maggots? I'm totally lost now. I asked a question. I decided not to cut in. It was hot outside. But Brennan held her arms as she was cold.
レナ、俺はいつだってお前の味方なんだからな。俺だけは信用してくれて構わない。
ありがとう。その一言がすごい嬉しい。
For a question alone, I could tell that she really meant it. I could tell that she was involved in something very big and that she felt lonely because she couldn't tell anyone else about it. I could be on side while she was going through a difficult time.
私とね、今日ここで出会ったことは内緒にした方がいいと思うの。私と接触があったことが知られたら圭一君にも危害が及ぶかもしれないから。
わかった。俺に何か協力できることはないのかよ。
今はない。でも協力をお願いできることが分かっただけで今の私には心強いよ。最後には頼らせてね。
おう、任せとけ。
車が来る。
I pushed my head into the bush. I went along with it and would crouch down even lower in the bushes. Stayed quiet for a while, your car coming closer, and after a while, the white van Surprised at her hearing. White van, huh? She had the car coming was still far off in the distance.
今の車ナンバー見えた？
Oh, was I supposed to be paying attention?
見えなかった。
私もちょっと見えなかったけど、多分さ
White
っきと同じナンバーの車
Yeah,
だ
the
と思うの。
same one that almost hit
レナを尾
Casey.
行しているとかいう連中か。
多分
Van.
普段車なんか
Like
通らない
chapter
道
1,
で
but their roles are
今日
reversed.
は何度も追い上げられるの。
Yeah, I've been
その
noticing
度に
that. But Casey
私
isn't
は
going
隠れて
fucking
やり過ご
bananas
して
on
いるか
her.
らいいんだけど、
うん
どうもおかしい。
そいつらなのか。高野さんたちを殺してレナが持ってるスクラップ帳を狙っているという連中は。
多分
Blame her for not being able to believe what's going on. This is really fucking nuts. Takano-san covered something that was significantly to her studies. One of the hidden information, the killer Ryukishi cursed blah blah blah. Look at the scrapbooks, the fruits of her research, and it has them. So they're trying to kill Lorena?
じゃあレナの家が危ないってことはないのか。
大丈夫。スクラップ帳はゴミ山の私の隠れ家に隠してある。お父さんが不安だけど何も知らないからこそ何も危害が及ばないかもしれない。
You're a bit cuckoo.
圭一君が言わなくても顔に書いてあるよ。突拍子もない話でとても信じられないでしょ。
I don't deny it, but I felt bad to lie. It remains in the affirmative way.
それが当然の反応。私だってミオさんのスクラップ帳を読み始めた最初はなんだこりゃって思って全然信じられなかったもの。全てに目を通してようやく何かの筋が見えてきたんだもん。
すまん。もちろんレナの味方になりたいのは本心だ。でも話が全然見えないんでどう助けてやればいいかわかんないんだ。
話せば圭一君の身にも危険が降りかかるよ。
レナにはすでに降りかかってるんだろ。ならおあいこだぜ。気にするな。
わかった。話す。多分ミオさんたちを殺したのはひなみ沢御三家。もっとはっきり言ってしまえばみーちゃんの家である園崎本家。
どうして。
圭一君も過去の連続開始事件は知ってるよね。
ああ、ダム戦争の時の村の旧敵ばかりが毎年犠牲になっていくっていうあれだろ。
この連続開始事件はダム戦争の生産のようなものなの。村の裏切り者を片付けることによって本当の意味で ダム戦争を終わらせようとする。
確かにそう見えないことはないよな。誰もがはっきりと口にはしないが、うすうすと園崎家の仕業だと疑ってるみたいな話は聞いたことあるぜ。
でも裏切り者を制裁するなら別に綿流しの場にこだわらなくてもいいんじゃない？毎年たたりで1人、鬼隠しで1人なんてスローペースで殺す必要は
I
ない。
mean, it
そう
does
で
hide
し
all
ょ？
this. I never heard the words demon away before, but Rena clearly thought there were kind of creepy significant meanings, so I decided not to cut in.
これらの連続開始事件は綿流しの祭りに神聖性を取り戻そうとする意志があるの。もっと踏み込んで言うと、明治以降に失われた鬼ヶ淵村の神聖性を取り戻すための段階的イベント。彼らは最終的には太古の昔にそうだったような原理的なお社様信仰を復活させることを目的としている。
お社様信仰、古出神社のことか？
そう。古出神社って崇められていると思う？お年寄りの人は敬っているけど、それだけだよね。子供たちは境内を遊び場くらいにしか思ってないし、ほとんどの村人たちも地域の集会所くらいにしか思っていない。その神聖性は失われている。それがダム戦争をきっかけに蘇ったの。彼らはそれをお社様信仰を復活させるいい機会だと捉えた。
ってことはつまりお社様信仰の狂信者たちが裏で暗躍しているってことか？
そういうこと。そもそもお社様信仰は御三家によって管理されていた。だから御三家には現代にも脈々とお社様信仰を復活させなければならないという至上目的が受け継がれているの。それを思えば御三家がダム戦争中に村を一丸にまとめたり、廃れかけていたお社様を引き合いに出し、古出神社にわざわざ同盟事務所を設けた理由も透けて見えてくる。
じゃあひなみ沢村連続開始事件ってのはひなみ沢御三家、いやお社様を信仰する狂信的な集団の仕業なら待てよ。どうして高野さんが殺されなきゃならないんだ？
それは御三家が鬼ヶ淵村と呼ばれた太古からずっと隠してきたこの村のある重大な秘密に関係があるの。それを暴かれるとお社様という神の神聖性が失われる。だから彼らはミオさんの研究が確信に近づいたことを知り消したの。
その重大な秘密ってのは何なんだ？それを知ると俺も狙われるってんだろうけど、上等だぜ。
だからそれはまだ言いたくない。私自身が10割の確証を得るまで言いたくない。多分今ここで話しても圭一君は耐えきれなくなって笑い出してしまうに違いないもん。
おいおい、俺がそんなやつに見えるかよ。
I guess
も
would
う
a
少
blood
し
sample reveal
時間が
something in
欲しい
it?
の。あまりの事実に私ですら受け入れきれていないの。だからもう少し時
I
間
feel
が
like there'd
欲
be
しいの。
some way to verify this
お
information.
願い。
わかった。
バカだ。
今日ここで話したことは誰にも喋っちゃダメだよ。みーちゃんとリカちゃん、もちろんさとこちゃんにもダメ。
わかったよ。
じゃあ圭一君はもう行って、私はもう少し辺りを伺ってから行く。用心に過ぎるということはないからね。
When I ducked low behind the bushes and moved away, I was left alone there. The cries of cicadas surrounded me, making it seem I was alone there the whole time. I started walking, still dumbfounded. Yeah, Rena didn't tell me the secret because she was afraid of putting me in danger. She told me clearly that the people wanted to resurrect the cult of Orishiro-sama, and they were among the 3 families that controlled the entire village. They orchestrated a serious, mysterious deaths for that purpose, and they killed Takano-san because they got too close to the secret they wanted to hide. Rena met Takano-san and happened to obtain scrapbooks in which Takano-san wrote about the research. Rena still can't believe the secret written in the scrapbook just because it's too crazy. Hey, go on, Rena. You're kidding me, right? It's like one of those comic book stories. It's like one about Japanese animes. I mean, it's not funny even if it's a joke. But Rena is right about one thing. Even if this is true, it's really hard to believe. I understand why Rena went to wait to tell me the secret. Maybe she was just being fooled by Takano-san. But Takano-san was murdered for realsies. So it's also true that someone is following Rena, looking for the scrapbooks. I remember Rena-san said a white van was following her. You can see white vans anywhere. But there's a lot in this village alone. She might just be also sensitive to everything right now. Rena hasn't recovered from the shock since that day. It's probably why she got the idea in her head that the police or someone else is coming after her. I didn't cut in while she was talking. I think I did the right thing. I said that was ridiculous something in her face, Rena wouldn't ever trust me again. But however, I gasped. A white van was parked on the side of the street. Wasn't sure it was the same car that passed by earlier since I didn't see the plate number. But the number of people in the car and the ambient stuff is similar to the one earlier. It's one of the things that looks suspicious about it. There was no reason to park here. It's on a small road in the middle of the woods. There's nothing around here. No traffic lights, no vending machines, no public phones. Probably wouldn't notice it under the circumstances, but I felt something was wrong. And once I noticed how odd it was definitely sussy. 4 men in uniforms in the white van. The driver was smoking a cigarette, but everyone was just sitting there doing nothing. They wanted to take a break or have a smoke, they could show us a better place than here. It's possible that they stopped because they had to go to the bathroom really badly, but it didn't seem that way either. They didn't look as comfortable or relaxed as they were taking a break. It looked like they were waiting for something to happen. There was a deep tension in that car. Could they possibly be ready for Rena? No way. I didn't see anybody walking around here. The road is a back road. Nobody uses this road, let alone by car. But it's impossible. I feel bad for Rena to even think about it, but it was something that she got into her head because she's feeling victimized or something. Work uniforms could also mean they're from the forest company. The forestation place. Ah! Heard someone say that when I passed by the van. Could be me. You know, who I was. He was talking to one of the other people in the car. Why did you walk past it, you fucking dumbass?
That's the way out.
Nii-chan, すまんね。
I would have taken any
学
other
校の
route.
帰りかいね。
Do you want some candy? Strong accent in some of the older villages. He must live here, but I didn't know him. Could tell him he didn't know me either, because he didn't call me by my name.
はい、そうですけど。
兄ちゃん、学校からこの道をずっと歩いてきたんで、ちょうど文房具屋の角を曲がって。
そうですけど。何か
They're probably lost, I thought. The village had many small turns, so he's also going to try to take a shortcut. So I must have been waiting for someone to ask her for directions. Then he said something disturbing.
兄ちゃんさ、この道の途中で女の子に会わんかったかいね。
え、
白い帽子に白い服を着た女の子なんよ。紫のリボンもついと。会わんかったかいね。
Keiichi, don't fuck this up. They were definitely talking about Anna.
いえ、会ってないです。
Oh my god. I was ready to hear them ask that. Rather, I was scared. Fucking you blew it. You blew it. He blew it, Griffin. He fucking blew it. I thought it was all ridiculous. I actually laughed, if only to myself. That's why I wasn't ready at all. My heart was beating fast and I was sweating all over. The answer no, I didn't. But I might sound like an obvious lie. You're waiting for what? I stared at my eyes. Looks like he was trying to figure out if I was lying or not. My legs started to shake. Frog in the glare of a snake, and it's just really hot out here. That's why I'm sweating. Yeah, I didn't think those men too. They were clearly a sussy group, and they had asked the villager about a girl out of the blue. Anybody would be suspicious. Do I need to call the cops? A girl, you're looking for a girl in the white van, all right? I'm getting out of here. You guys stop making excuses for asking what you know about that girl.
ああ、そんな深い
Hey,
意味
you
はな
can
い
get
ね。
buckshot
さっ
roulette.
き
Yeah, I
女
did.
の子を追い抜いたのによ。
I've been playing
来
it.
たのが
You
男
have
の子
it?
だったから。あれ
No.
No, you
思った
didn't.
だけなの
Else I would have not have
そ
bought
うで
it.
すか。
Yeah, I was playing with friends. It
Well,
was fun.
I have it now.
ごめんな、兄ちゃん。
Gambling.
うちらもう行くんて。
Go gambling.
I guess you feel like shit. I just asked the boy about. I'm in a white van. I just asked the boy if he's seen this young girl. I'm like, shit. Run, boys, run for it. They're really waiting for Rena. That's fucking horrifying. Yeah, I love backshot roulette. Not even gonna stop me. Lunch takeout list 2. So basically, another mental report. Mystery machine. Be drawn further into conspiracy. Mystery machine. Fuck you.
Mystery machine. Oh, that was Fred.
Oh, Scooby-Doo! They're here to solve the mystery in Mazawa! And they find Oishiro-sama's like, let's see who's really behind this mask. Old Grandma Sonozaki! And I would have gotten away for you kissing your dog, too. Furthermore, it's important that we closely monitor her father, since he has also suffered mental shock from divorce and been trying to hard to keep the patient. There's a strong possibility he may develop an induced delusional disorder. As the first step in mental care, one should listen to the patient's story carefully without denying it. That's the most basic of basics. However, when the patient and the listener are related, it's easier for the listener to become deeply influenced by the patient's delusions. Additionally, delusional parasitosis is widely known to make people highly impressionable, and the influence sometimes can spread through a whole community. Therefore, even several people claim to acquire a parasitic infection, doesn't assume the existence of a parasite. Very funny you're talking about this right now. Some of the phones and calls at health center for examination of pests are nothing but mass delusion. Subject matter delusion is in case extremely rabid. The patients may have to harm or even kill each other in normal ways. Believing this to be treatment for the disease, they may also give up hope and commit suicide together in worst cases. This influential delusion disorder, otherwise known as shared psychotic disorder, shows a particularly strong possibility of influencing close companions. Anyone who's going to contact the patients must be made to understand the patients are under medical treatment and must be warned not to be influenced by the parents' delusions. An individual who is likely to easily influence the patient's family members and people who deeply care about the patient, such as boyfriends or girlfriends.
People can think that they have parasites.
I don't know anymore, Griffin. I don't know. Alright? There's something in the waters in this fucking town. I know that much for sure.
Gotta be something in the water.
There's something in that swamp that's causing people to go cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs.
Cocaine.
And there's some conspiracy to hide the truth. And also, Oishiro-sama also exists probably in some way, shape, and form manner, because magic is real. And also, that swamp kills everyone. And also, I don't fucking know anymore! Any last words?
Well, we're getting to the more meat of the mystery here.
The mystery meat.
Or maybe we're not, who knows.
Any last words for the people, Griffin?
You have parasites. You, who listening right now, you have parasites. It's the vocal cord parasites from Metal Gear Solid 5.
Words that kill. We'll find out the truth about those vocal cord parasites. Until then, have a gale time, y'all. Peace.